The Shaiva masters offer an invitation, and they say, investigate. The process of study is not just meant to be only intellectual. It is not meant to be just only addressing itself to texts and teachings and the discursive narratives of a tradition in whatever way that one approaches, in whatever system of knowledge that one approaches. The investigation is meant to be profoundly experiential. And in that investigation, there is also an acceleration of a radical transformation of our lives. To discover that what I take myself to be, relatively speaking, defined by what appears at the surface of life, and my understandings and my emotions and my names and my sort of descriptions of myself and others, and to discover that that is partial and incomplete and severely limited perspective or view on ourselves. That discovery fundamentally requires profound, illuminative inner experience. And though the teachings of the tradition do say the absolute consciousness is everywhere, it is all pervasive, it is omnipresent. Nevertheless, in the ordinary course, as it were, of investigation or discovery, there is a first stage of the mystical path, the journey, the upaya, the rahasya, the marga, the darshana that we're speaking about, the yoga that we're speaking about tonight, that is introversive, that involves looking deep inside, using instruments of highly calibrated precision. We would even say scientific capacity that we inherit from the tradition to open up this interior microscope or telescope of investigation of ourselves. Not just a kind of inner look at our thoughts or transitory feelings, moods, states of ordinary waking, dreaming, and sleeping, and so on, but something that begins to give us access to, in the most increasingly profound way, levels of hidden, radiant silence deep within ourselves, of a fundamental aliveness and a fundamental uncharacterizable, even seemingly impossible contradictoriness, and yet an ultimacy and a wholeness of reality. And the tradition says, begin to investigate inside yourself through practices of precise meditative study. The fourth state of consciousness, waking, dreaming, and sleeping, 3 states of consciousness, now a 4th state of consciousness. And don't just aspire to a fleeting glimpse of a kind of Satori-like temporariness of dislocation or alteration into some strange or temporarily weird or uncommon condition inside yourself. Aspire to ground, root, and deeply establish your identity eventually, not through thought, not through mood making, but through the immersion in that deepest place of pure, contentless consciousness inside, such that you begin to anchor the mutable, changeable, partial, relative, mortal, limited structure at the surface of your life that we ordinarily take ourselves to be, in that which is immutable, absolute, eternal, unbounded, transcending any form of ordinary relative definition, delineation, or description, and yet extraordinarily foundational. The discovery of that which is the foundation, the basis, the support, the true, authentic structure of what our entire life is about, the journey into the space of the heart. This is the meaning of what we chose as the title for this course so long ago, entering the heart, the space of the absolute, the space of the transcendental, the space of the divine vibrating silence of absolute consciousness, its radiance, its luminosity, its nectarian perfection, its exquisiteness of allowing us access to something rahasya, ordinarily inaccessible, hidden, concealed, and seemingly impossible in a certain sense. The esoteric is that investigation of that domain of life that is uncommon and most extraordinary in life. This is what we have been studying, or at least taking a first step into studying in entering the heart of Shiva.